Bob and Kathy Burns are a lovely couple who live in Burbank, California, who share a passion for monsters and fantasy.
Bob and Kathy Burns are at sort of ground zero for sci-fi and horror fandom.
Bob and Kathy, to me, are family, and more so than a lot of my family. They're just such genuinely nice, loving, caring people.
Bob and Kathy Burns are two people about whom you only hear how wonderful they are. You know, I would love to be able to debunk this and tell you that these people are really secretly evil. But unfortunately, I am, along with the majority of people, I'm sort of captivated by them.
In addition to being that rarity of rarities, a nice, normal couple from Hollywood, they are sort of the keepers of the flame of that baby boomer first blush of fandom for monster movies.
They're the touch point for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of monster fans all over the world who just need to have that one central point to get to.
Well, my collection, when I got most of my stuff, most of the studios couldn't wait to throw it out. It was just a liability to them. I mean, we've used it, it's done, we don't want it. And then, of course, Planet Hollywood came along and things like that, and all of a sudden the studio said, whoa, wait a minute, this stuff might be worth some money. So now, they don't really get rid of anything unless they sell it themselves or an auction or whatever, that type of thing. And so probably if I were collecting new stuff today, which I really don't that much, I would probably have trouble getting it now, you know, because now it's bucks. And if I want to, you know, pay $4,000 in an auction, that's fine. But part of the charm of my collections is it all came from people that was given to me, and usually by the person doing the film. And so that means a lot more to me than going out and buying something. It's just not the thing I want to do. Now, collectors, if that's the only way you can get it, there's certainly nothing wrong with that. I've just been very lucky to get the stuff I've gotten the way I got it.
Okay.
How I first got into films, I mean, I had a love for it ever since I was a kid. I used to dabble in makeup when I was a kid. One thing I did, much to my mother's disappointment, was I wanted to do a Wolfman makeup on myself. I must have been 7 years old. And she had this, like, women in those days wore these things called buns, little things you put in the back of your hair. It was extra hair or something. And I took it, cut it all apart, and I didn't know how to glue it on, so I glued it on white glue, which is not a real good thing to do. And I used brown shoe polish for the Wolfman thing, and I thought I did a really great job. She came home, she didn't feel that way, you know. And I wore the makeup for a while, you know. But so I had a love for this anyway, and I'd see every horror film, I'd see every science fiction film. I loved to sketch that stuff. I mean, it just started when I was a little kid. So I've always had a really great love for all of this stuff. And so it was just a natural thing that someday I would end up with a collection. The very first prop I ever got was the cane head from the Wolfman. And it was shaped like a wolf. It's supposed to be silver, and it's what Claude Rains ends up killing Lon Chaney with. And then later on, people started finding out that I like to collect these things. And they'd call up and say, hey, I have this whole thing in my garage. Do you want it? And it'd be something like really some cool spaceship or something from some film. And I happen to be the luckiest guy in the world in knowing a lot of people like Jim Cameron and a lot of other people, Bob and Denny Skotak and Bill Malone, all these guys that had this stuff. And they said, do you want this stuff? You can have it. So my wife and I, like maybe almost 18 years ago now, built on to the back of our building, a 3,000 square foot place to house this stuff. And then from there on, it's like the floodgates open all of a sudden. But they know it'll be here. And like Jim said, he said, I know people can be here to see it. And he has sent people that come into town once in a while over to see it. And I know it's going to be safe. You're going to take care of the stuff. We won't end up on eBay, you know, for one thing. And it's movie history. I mean, these are made by artisans that are such great talents. It's as important to me as a Rembrandt painting. Some of this work, I mean, look at these guys back here. The work that's in these things is brilliant. And I can't see them just being junk somewhere, just put something. They've got to be seen. People have to know about these things. And so I feel I'm just the caretaker of this stuff. I'm the guy showing off all these brilliant people's work. And I love to do that.
Horror movies, science fiction movies, were just starting to come out. And I thought they were really fun, you know. And my folks took me to Frankenstein Meets a Wolfman. Must have been about maybe 7, 8 years old. And I remember looking at it sort of like this, you know, that kind of thing. But it fascinated me at the same time. I mean, I really thought, boy, this is really cool. And boy, I love that Wolfman look.
And the guy who really knows his way around the dumpster, Bob.
You know, Bob Burns, I love these trips down to see your props in your basement, but I have a personal question for you this time.
Yeah.
Do you have anything in a lycanthrope?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Where?
Wolf.
I'm a pepper, you're a pepper, wouldn't you want to be a pepper? Now, David Naughton,
Yes.
Mr. Dr. Pepper, was
That's
the
right.
star of American Werewolf in
Certainly
London,
was.
right?
This is him right here.
Here he
Here's
is
faces.
as a bald guy.
Yeah, Rick Baker made these up. He won an Academy Award for this
Yeah.
makeup, as a matter of fact. These are the different stages. This is where he's first starting to change. Here's where he's changing a little bit more. And these are used to pull molds off of for these faces, which ends up being these guys right here out of foam rubber.
So that's a mask, basically.
It's sort of like a mask. Yeah, it's all glued down to his face so he can get some movement out of it and different things like that. Come this way. Now, there's a scene in the theater where he starts to change all of a sudden. He's not really aware of it, and he suddenly looks, and this happens.
Ooh, boy, those aren't Lee Press-on nails, are they?
Look at that.
That is nasty. How's that feel, though?
That's a good back
Give me a quick
scratcher.
one.
Not bad. Pretty good. Huh? Not bad.
I mean, I gave Bob copies of all my original masks I made when I was 13, which he still has.
I mean, I'm just a caretaker of the stuff. But I look at that stuff, and some of the stuff there I think is as important as a painting in the Louvre. And it's just, I don't know, I just get a great thrill out of looking at the stuff and saying, God, somebody made that, you know.
It's the craftsmanship and the artistry of the technicians and the makeup artists and the sculptors and dyers and hair layers and wig makers and painters and makeup guys and, you know, costumers. And it's preserved.
Like Rick Baker's full-size werewolf he gave to me. I can look at that all day long and just say, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Bob loved the cliffhangers from the time that he was small. That cliff-hanging monster kid. Barcroft showed him bad guys were the nicest guys of all. That bad guy liking monster kid. Burbank was the town where those fun serials were made. That Burbank dwelling monster kid. Bob would see to it that those stars' legends wouldn't fade. That legend-telling monster kid. When the monster kid rides into town, we'll all pull up our chairs to hear him tell the stories of the man behind the scares. How the stuntmen took their lumps where the unknown isle is hid. And that's why he's known far and wide as our favorite monster kid.